Anin Sego Tunasugete Tanshe. September 30th, 2025 marks the 5th National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, created in response to Call to Action 80 to honor survivors, their families, and communities, and to ensure the legacy of residential schools is never forgotten. Since 2013, Canadians have also marked Orange Shirt Day, inspired by Phyllis Webstad's story, as a reminder of the children whose culture and identity were taken from them. Education plays a vital role in reconciliation. Over the past decade, Ontario school boards have built partnerships, created action plans, and woven Indigenous knowledge into classroom. Today we share this important work by highlighting initiatives from school boards across Ontario. Leading up to the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, Avon-Maitland District School Board is reflecting on its commitment to reconciliation through action, relationships, and growth. They're working to close academic and attendance gaps for Indigenous students, ensure all learners and staff engage with Indigenous perspectives, and address the board's name, which is tied to the residential school system. Already, they've built a strong Indigenous education team, updated libraries, welcomed elders and knowledge carriers into classrooms, created Indigenous student councils, and elected an Indigenous student trustee. Partnerships with local First Nations and organizations are deepening, while summer land-based culture camps and expanded Indigenous content in all subjects highlight their progress. Avon-Maitland DSB is committed to moving forward with reconciliation through meaningful action and continued collaboration. Bluewater District School Board continues to grow its programs and supports for Indigenous students, staff, and communities. With more than 450 self-identified Indigenous students, the board is focused on academic success, cultural learning, and relationship building. Graduation coaches support students from grades 7 to 12, while every school has received new Indigenous resources and updated library collections. Students are engaging in experiential projects like land-based learning, ribbon skirt making, and cultural exchanges. Professional development opportunities for staff include Indigenous ways of knowing, French immersion training with the El Sapel Echo series, and Ojibwe language and culture courses. Community partnerships with Saugeen First Nation and local organizations are strengthening connections through powwows, cultural demonstrations, and shared learning. Looking ahead, Bluewater will expand land-based learning through the Landing Success Program, continue language circles, and support student transitions from grade 8 to high school and beyond. DSB Ontario Northeast continues to strengthen its commitment to reconciliation by embedding Indigenous voices, knowledge, and perspectives throughout its schools. The board has introduced Indigenous student advisors, expanded language courses, and created culturally responsive curriculum on treaties, residential schools, and Indigenous contributions. Students and families are supported through programs that improve achievement, offer summer learning opportunities, and build meaningful pathways for the future. Staff and students engage in events and activities that honor the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation while working to foster empathy, understanding, and mutual respect across the board. Hastings and Prince Edward District School Board is committed to truth-telling as the foundation for reconciliation. A key pillar of their multi-year strategic plan focuses on advancing Indigenous education and reconciliation across the board. Their actions include an annual Orange Shirt campaign supporting Indigenous organizations, a student symposium that builds pride and inspiration among Indigenous learners, and an expanded Indigenous education team offering dedicated supports in schools. Strong partnerships with Indigenous communities remain central, recognizing that reconciliation cannot happen without Indigenous voices at the table. With humility and accountability, Hastings Prince Edward District School Board commits to breaking down barriers, decolonizing structures, and creating learning spaces grounded in equity, respect, and belonging. Limestone DSB is advancing reconciliation by embedding Indigenous perspectives in classrooms, supporting Indigenous students, and engaging the wider community. Initiatives include culturally responsive resources for teachers, an Indigenous place names map to deepen understanding of local histories, and land-based learning through the Bridge and River programs, which connect Indigenous students with culture, identity, and support. The board also encourages participation in community events like the Walk for Truth and Reconciliation and continues to equip educators with resources that bring reconciliation into daily learning. The Near North DSB works alongside Indigenous students, staff, and communities to support well-being, reconciliation, and relationship building. Initiatives include the Indigenous Youth Circle, where students and grad coaches meet monthly to plan wellness projects across schools, and a year-end gallery walk at Nipissing University, showcasing student-led initiatives. Through partnerships with artists and advocates, such as Red Dress Sealskin Pin Workshop with Vanessa Brasseau, students are raising awareness of missing and murdered Indigenous peoples. Near North remains committed to strengthening relationships and advancing reconciliation through student voice, collaboration, and community connection. Together, Ontario School Board are taking meaningful steps on the path of truth and reconciliation, supporting students, honoring survivors, and building stronger relationships with Indigenous communities. Find more information at opspa.org. Miigwech, Niawa, Kwana, Marcy.